All right, friends and fam, we are on our very last video of the DBA review. I'm doing numbers 31 to 40, so the very end of the packet. This is semester 2, M214. Let's get into it. This is our similarity chapter. So we have two different rectangles, A, B, C, D, and W, X, Y, Z. So the small rectangle and the big one, and we are told that they are similar. That's what that symbol right there means. I'm going to take a second and I'm going to label some stuff. So ZY is 6. So that means find Z, find Y, find Z, find Y. Okay, this side is 6. Excellent. I'm going to put a 6 there. AD is 10. So find A, find D. Okay, in between those is 10. Great. Another one, WZ is 12. So find W, find Z. Here's W, here's Z. Excellent. Right there is 12. And we need to figure out what CD is. Okay, cool. C and D is right here. Okay, I'm going to put an X there because that is the point of the question. So if you remember how to set these up, since we know that A and D is the first and last letter, I also know that that matches up with the first and last letter of this one, which is W and Z. So those sides match up. If we look at the last two letters, that's C and D, so these two. And the last two letters here are Y and Z, that's these two. Okay, great. So what I can do is I can set the two pink sides, I can make a fraction out of it, 10 and 12. So I'm going to do that. Set a fraction, make a fraction out of your two sides. This one goes on top, this one goes on bottom. X goes on top, 6 goes on bottom, X over 6. Now I just need to solve this. Okay, remember we cross multiply when we have two fractions that equal each other. So that means 12x equals. When you cross this way, you get 60. I'm going to divide both sides by 12 to cancel. 12s are gone and I have x equals. When I type 60 divided by 12 in the calculator, you get 5. Okay, excellent. I'm going to put 5 there. This is how we're going to do our similarity ones. Okay. Scale factor, that means what do the fractions reduce to? I'm going to first look at this right here, which tells me which sides match up with which sides. So M and N are the first two letters. Those match up with R and S, which are the first two letters over here. I have another color. I'm going to do N and P, the last two letters. Why does it keep doing that? NP is this, and the last two letters here are S and T, which is that. And then my white sides, the other two that I haven't highlighted, those go together also. Okay, and just be really careful. There are some multiple choice questions about this. This is the small triangle. This is the big triangle. You can look at your pictures and see that this side is smaller than this one. So they want the fraction written in that order, okay? So my two blue sides are 5 and 15. Do you see the blue side here, which is 5, and the blue side here, which is 15? I'm going to make a fraction out of that. I'm also going to do my pink sides. The small pink side is 12. The large pink side is 36. And my white sides, I'll do those in black actually. The sides that I didn't highlight, this one and this one, the small one is 13 and the large one is 39. And in your calculator, you can reduce all of those. So the top, this divides by 5 and this divides by 5, and that makes it 1 over 3. For your pink sides, you can actually divide the top and bottom both by 12, and that makes it 1 and 3 again. And for this last one, we can divide them both by 13. And that gives you 1 and 3. So, hey, because all of these are the same, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, that is the scale factor. That's what it's called. So I'm going to put 1 over 3. The answer would be 3 over 1 if they put the big triangle first, followed by the small one, FYI, but the small one goes first. All right, a flagpole at Soldier Field. Without even continuing to read, I'm noticing that there's no picture to go with this, so I should probably draw it. I'm going to draw a flagpole. There's my little flag, yay, at Soldier Field, and it casts a shadow. You guys know that shadows go along the ground, okay? And when you have a flagpole with a shadow, you can connect to make a triangle. Okay, and what do we know here? It says the shadow is 20 feet, so the shadow goes along the ground. That means I'm going to label that side 20. Nearby a 5-foot woman. Okay, I see no woman, so I'm going to have to draw her. Here's my little stick figure, and she is 5 feet, so I'm going to label her 5. And she has a 4-foot shadow. Okay, so where's her shadow? Maybe like this, 4 feet, and yes, that makes a triangle also. How tall is the flagpole? So where is the flagpole again? Oh, that's this right here. I'm going to put an X right there. And if you remember from number 31 that we did, what we're going to do is we're going to make fractions, and I'm going to compare this side to this one, the height of the flagpole and the height of the woman. So X and 5, I'm going to make a fraction out of that. It doesn't really look like an X. Let me fix it. So I did X and 5, and I'm also going to do 20 and 4, and make sure that you keep them in the correct order. So right now on the top, I have all of my numbers for the flag, and on the bottom, I have all of my numbers for the woman, okay? And yeah, once again, what we're going to do is cross multiply. When you cross that way, you get 4x, and when you cross this way, you get 100. I'm going to divide both sides by 4 and get x equals 25. That's the answer for number 33. Number 34, is it similar? Okay, so again, I have A and B are my first 2 letters. I'm going to highlight that. That matches up with F and G. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to use a different color to do my second 2 letters, which are B and C. My second 2 letters here are G and H. So now I know how to make my fractions. Okay, I'm going to do pink to pink, which would be 12 and 20. And I'm asking myself, is that the same as, what about my blue sides? Well, here's a blue side and here's a blue side, 8 and 16. Is that the same as, what was my third side? The one that I didn't highlight, that was 6 and 20. So I'm going to write those, 6 and 20. And the way to be able to answer this question, I'm going to type 12 out of 20 in my calculator. Did you know that that is 0.6? You can actually check it in your calculator if you want to. 8 divided by 16, that's 0.5. And 6 divided by 20 is 0.3. Are those equal? Is this equal to this, equal to this? And since the answer is no, we are going to say no. If they all reduce to the same exact number, like this, then the answer would be yes. Okay. How about number 35? Again, we are told some stuff that matches up. A and B, where is that? Here's A, here's B. I have a pink side. That matches up with T and B. Okay, great. So T and B is right here. I also have a blue side, B and C together. Where's B and where's C? Here's B, here's C. That side matches up with, where's B and O? This side. Okay, great. I'm going to make some fractions. I'm going to start with 16 and 20. So I've got 16 and 20. Those are my 2 pink sides. And what about my blue sides? I have X and 15. Why did I put 16 on top? That just means that I need to keep X on top because that's for this triangle, the smaller one. So I'm going to put X and 15, not 15 and X. Okay, so what am I going to do now? I think I'm going to cross multiply. I'm going to do 20 times X, which is 20X. And I'm going to do 15 times 16. What is that number? Let me check. 15 times 16, 240. And when I divide both sides by 20, that cancels, and I have X equals, let's see, 12. Excellent. 12 is the answer to that. Okay, number 36, I'm going to do the same thing. I have a side here that is A and B. That matches up with D and E. There we go. I have a blue side, B and C. This one matches up with E and F, the last 2 letters. And I can leave these blank, but those match up also. And I'm going to make some fractions, okay? I'm going to take my pink sides, 36 and 9. I'm going to make a fraction out of it. Could I put 9 over 36? Yes, that would just mean you'd have to put X and 12. But since I did 36 first, I'm going to do 12 first. You do have to keep the order consistent that you're doing. But these are my 2 pink sides. 36 over 9 equals 12 over X. And once again, friends and family, I am going to cross multiply. I got 36x equals, what's 9 times 12? 108. And when I divide both sides by 36, I believe I get, let me think, 4 to 1, 4 to 1, x equals 3. Super. Now I'm going to do number 37. Given they are similar, that means that the sides that are, okay, here, this is going to be interesting. Be careful with the 16 here. That matches up with the 8. See how it's the longer side? And it's like a mirror image almost and shrunk a little bit. And then the bottom of this weird looking shape is this one. So again, they're telling us they're similar. That means I can set up some fractions. So I'm going to put x and 6 together as a fraction, x over 6. And then I'm going to do my blue sides, which are 16 and 8. 16 and 8, and then I can cross multiply. Okay, when I do this, I get, I believe, 96, and when I do this, I get 8x, and when you divide both sides by 8, you get x equals 12. Super. Number 38. There was one thing that we had to do for number 38, which was kind of weird. I don't know if you remember, but we drew these two triangles separately. Okay, see when you have two triangles on top of each other, you have to be really careful about like what they represent. Here's the other one. Do you see these two triangles right here? I'm going to move this over here. Okay. And what I have happening here is, see, this part right here is 10. That's part of my small blue triangle. This part right here is 6. That's part of my small blue triangle. How long is this right here? Can you tell? This entire piece right here, the top is 10, the bottom is 5. Yes, we're going to add those together and get 15. And this side right here just has an x. Don't add the 5 because the 5 is for this part, okay? The bottom of this triangle from here to here is just labeled x, so I'm going to leave it as an x. And once you get those triangles drawn separately, you can compare 10 and 5. Those go together, or 10 and 15, excuse me. Those go together. 10 over 15 equals. And then I'm also going to put 6 and x. Those go together. And then once again, we're going to cross multiply. 15 times 6 is 90. I don't know why I put that equals there. And then when I cross this way, I get 10x. You can divide both sides by 10 and get x equals 9. Cancel. Okay, let's see, I've got 2 left. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to copy these triangles separately so that I don't confuse myself. And yes, this blue side was 6 and this side down here was 14. I mean x. I said 6, but I meant x. Those are the same, and this is the same. Now I'm going to do a pink triangle, which is the ginormous one. Okay, and I'm going to pull this over here. And I'm going to very carefully, okay, let's see, this bottom part right here is just, there's just a 28 there. So I'm putting 28 down here. And I got to think about what I'm going to write here. Remember up here we put 10 plus 5 and got 15. Well, here I have x plus 5, and those are not like terms, so I can't combine them. So I'm just going to put x plus 5. Okay, I think I'm going to do my work over here because I'm running out of room, but I'm going to take the x and the x plus 5, and I'm going to make a fraction out of them. X over x plus 5 equals, and I'm also going to take my 14 and my 28 and make a fraction out of them. 14 and 28. Excellent. I am going to cross multiply, and I'm going to get 28x. And then this way, I'm going to put 14. Do you remember doing this in class? Put parentheses when there's 2 things down there because, yeah, you're going to have to distribute. This might be an example I would suggest putting on your note card so that you can actually mirror like step 1, step 2. But when you have 14 and you're multiplying it by something like x plus 5, you do need parentheses around that because you do need to distribute the 14 to both of those terms. Yes, you should know what distribution is because you passed Algebra 1, which is how you ended up in geometry, okay? But maybe you forgot about it, so let me remind you how to do it. 28x equals, when I take 14 times x, I just write 14x, and I'm going to keep the plus sign, so I'm going to put plus. And then when I take 14 times 5, I believe that gives me 70. Okay, I'm now going to combine my like terms. So I need to combine my x terms. So I'm going to subtract 14x. Why am I doing that? Because it's positive. Positive 14 minus 14 cancels, and whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. 28x minus 14x is 14x. And now I have 70 over here. And to get x by itself, you divide both sides by 14. This is just algebra, friends and family. And I got x equals 5. Okay, great. I have one left. I'm going to do the highlighter thing again. They're telling me that A and B together matches up with M and N together. And they're telling me that B and C, which are my second two letters, match up with N and P, which are these. Okay, great. And therefore, my side that isn't highlighted, the 3 and the 5, go together. And here's one weird thing about ratios that I need to introduce. So sides, the fraction is 3 to 5 because there's a 3 here and there's a 5 here. And that's just measured in like inches or feet or miles or whatever it is. But keep in mind that when we measure area, we take the side lengths and we square them. Because area is always in like inches squared, units squared, miles squared, square feet, whatever it is. So we just have to square both of those numbers because I'm going from sides and I need to figure out what the area is, which means square it. So when I take 3 squared, that doesn't mean 3 times 2, it means 3 times 3. You multiply it by itself and you get 9. And then on the denominator, I have 5, and when I square it, it's 5 times 5, which is 25. So 9 over 25 is the ratio of their areas. Go ahead and throw that on your note card too if you feel like it might help you, okay? Thanks for watching, you guys. You're done with your DBA packet. Good job.